Now, as we look back at the events of World War II on this year's Yom HaShoah, we're also looking at how far we've come. But unfortunately, a new report by the World Zionist Organization shows a sharp increase in worldwide anti-Semitism over the first quarter of 2020. In fact, according to the findings, at least one anti-Jewish attack occurs every day in the United States and every 3 days in Germany. Joining us now with more on these reports is Dr. Robert Rozett, senior historian at the Yad Vashem International Institute for Holocaust Research. Thank you so much for being with us today. Now, do you think that there's been more anti-Semitic incidents around the world in recent years? Or is it maybe just a difference in reporting methods?
Well, it seems from all of the reporting from the agencies that monitor anti-Semitism that there is more going on these days, certainly in the last few years, and even within the last few weeks because of the coronavirus, we see certain kinds of anti-Semitism coming out of the woodwork much more than it was before the virus hit.
So why do you think that is? What is the biggest driving factor? Especially because, I can understand why in Iran maybe there's a ramp up in anti-Semitism, for political reasons, but elsewhere?
Well, I think there's no one single reason why we see anti-Semitism. And of course, it too has been called a virus or a cancer by people for many years. And it's not so easy to understand where it's all coming from. But certainly in times of stress, it seems to come out more. Something like this virus that's going on now, the pandemic, seems to be bringing out even more anti-Semitic rhetoric over the social media and the internet and everywhere else than what's happening before. But certainly in the last 20 years or so, we've seen this phenomena that anti-Semitism was no longer not politically correct, meaning that many people felt that they could come out openly with anti-Semitic ideas. If you go all the way back to the survivors themselves at the end of the Holocaust, they still felt that anti-Semitism existed. The Holocaust didn't stop anti-Semitism. It just made it politically not so correct. But again, as time went by, it became less and less of an obstacle, and it came out more and more.
So what do you do at the Yad Vashem Institute to fight international anti-Semitism?
Well, Yad Vashem is not a monitoring unit, and we're not somebody that goes into the halls of power and starts advocating. What we do is we deal in education and knowledge. And probably the most important things we're doing are in that realm and outreach through various social media, internet. We created a very sophisticated and I think a very good massive online course that's in 6 parts about anti-Semitism from its origins and then with an emphasis on contemporary anti-Semitism today. And we continue to write about it, we're following it, and we try to give it the historical context and perspective that it needs to try to understand it today.
All right, well, Dr. Rozett, thank you again so much for joining us, and stay safe.
You're very welcome.